Alissa Moore, and my farm is called Wild Ridge Farm. Wild Ridge Farm is a small, diversified vegetable operation. We have a small CSA and we sell to farmers markets in Milwaukee's northern suburbs. We are located near Wabaka, Wisconsin, which is 30 miles due north of Milwaukee. We currently lease 6 acres and will grow vegetables on 3 of those acres in 2014. Our topography is quite varied. We have ridge tops and river valleys, sandy loam soils, and clay soils.
What's the biggest obstacle you've overcome as a beginning farmer?
I would say the challenge of gaining access to land and access to capital. I have known since the first week of my first farming internship 7 years ago that I wanted to do this work for the rest of my life. But I don't come from farmers and I don't come from folks with a lot of resources to spare. I spent 4 years interning on farms all over the country, learning all the skills associated with the craft of farming, but farm wages are typically pretty low, so after all that, I still had no land and not much capital. I was never sure how I could afford to start a farm on my own. But in 2011, while I was managing a nonprofit farm in our area, I met a couple with both land and resources who were not farmers but are very interested in sustainable agriculture. And over the last 3 years, our relationship has grown and evolved into its current form, where myself, along with my 2 farm partners, are able to lease this amazing property. And we were able to spend a portion of 2013 buying equipment and getting the infrastructure on the farm ready for vegetable production.
What is new on your farm next season? How are you innovating or growing?
In 2013, there were 3 businesses operating on the land at Wild Ridge Farm. One was my 1.5 acre market garden, and the other 2 were incubator businesses owned by 2 of my former interns at the nonprofit farm I had previously managed. Both of those incubator projects existed because of the initial relationship that I had formed with the landowners here, and also because of my willingness to facilitate and manage the bigger picture of creating a place for small-scale agriculture on this property, which was previously conventionally farmed corn and soybeans. In 2014, 2 of those 3 businesses have come together to form Wild Ridge Farm. And the 3rd business, which produces eggs and meat birds, will remain separate but integrated. I've always felt that my ideal farm partnership would be a group of 3 farmers working together, each with a different but complementary skill set. And that's pretty much what we have going on, so it's really amazing to me that this is happening.
Why do you farm?
You know, there's a part of me that feels like ever since I started farming, I've been motivated by an inner force that I can't quite name. But in a more concrete sense, I can say that I farm because I love feeding people. Some of the greatest joy I get from the work that I do comes from bringing our end product to our customers and seeing the joy that the food in turn brings to them. At the end of the 2013 season, I had an experience with a customer who'd been buying food from us all season long, and you know, she'd come to our market stand and we just had this very casual, friendly relationship. And one of our last interactions of the season, she told me that her husband had passed away 4 years ago, and ever since he died, she'd stopped cooking for herself and she'd started eating all of her meals standing up in her kitchen. But throughout this summer, from buying produce from us all season long from my market stand, she'd started cooking for herself again and enjoying sitting down to meals. And you know, she told me that story and we hugged and I almost started crying. I think it's really the most amazing thing that anyone's ever said to me.